My name's Kath Rees and I'm the Chief Executive at the Haven Wolverhampton, and I've been employed here since 1992. The Haven is a domestic violence project based in Wolverhampton, and it's got its staff team of about 82 with just under probably about 100 volunteers now, I would think. The Haven is one of the larger voluntary organisations providing refuge provision to women and children that experience domestic violence, and we have a lot of support services that enable women to move on from a life of domestic violence back into the community. We're quite well known within the city, and we do play a role in the strategic development of various local authority initiatives, both here locally, nationally and internationally. I'm thinking in particular of the first big lottery bid that we achieved when I first started at the Haven, talking about 18 years ago, and that was a lot of money then. And that money was to actually set up a counselling service and support women through therapeutic support into a life free from violence, really. It's a very costly service and not very well understood, and that's why we thought it was a really significant achievement. But other achievements have been the development of a 1.3 million development for women with mental health conditions. These have transpired as a result of living for years and years in a domestic violence relationship. And it was the first of its own in the country, and we built that in partnership with the Housing Association and the local authority. In fact, the local authority gave us the land free because they were so impressed with the research that we did to demonstrate the need for this project. I think the other one would be the Financial Inclusion Project, because that is an area which is very little understood, either by sometimes women themselves or by the financial institutions. When a woman finds herself in a domestic violence situation, she quite often stays within that because of not being able to get out of the contractual arrangements around mortgages and other business commitments. So that's been a fantastic project. We've presented on that at the Commission on the Status of Women at the United Nations last year, and we've also presented in Vienna and a number of other places to raise the profile of the need for financial institutions to understand the effect of domestic violence on women, and how within their organisations policies and procedures need to be developed to enable these women to find the right source of help for them when they present at their organisations. We need more men to speak up and speak out against domestic violence, because women are not going to be able to change this on their own. I think the other obstacles that women's organisations face is a lack of understanding in relation to gender and gender issues, and we can't blame the great British public for that, as we're so often stereotyped in newspapers and magazines and etc. But we do our best with our publicity and marketing to shift some of those myths. So it really is in our interest to look at the prevention agenda, to deploy our skills and talents towards fighting this evil of domestic violence in civil society. Yes, I was trying to think carefully about this, because I was thinking, well, what inspires me and why do I do this? Why did I find myself here nearly 20 years ago? And it was as a result of, I'm a trained alcohol counsellor, and I was counselling quite a number of women who were coming in who were abusing themselves through alcohol and using that to cope with the abuse in the home. And I just was thinking at the time, well, what made me take this direction, because I was looking at a different route actually after being at home with my children. And it's really about the passion to support other women, to help those who are less fortunate. And, you know, I think if there's anything that I can do to help other women move on from a domestic violence situation, then this team at the Haven is there and set up and ready to do that.